So today we're looking at inequalities. They're different than equalities. So equalities have an equal sign. The inequality has one of those other signs. Has a greater than, less than, more than, or equal to. So if I have here x is greater than -5, I can write that in words. I simply say x is greater than -5. So you got to be able to go back and forth between your math and a word sentence. Let's have a look at the meaning of the inequality symbols. This symbol kind of makes a letter L, and that's because it's the less than symbol. If it doesn't make the letter L, it must be greater than. Okay. Good. So this would be less than, or no, or equal to, because it's kind of got an equal sign on the bottom. In fact, when I write it, I cheat and kind of make it more of an equal sign. Okay? Then the other sign would be greater than or equal to. So let's talk about graphing these. What does it look like when you want to graph x equals 3? So we have to put some direction on a number line. The number that we're interested in, 3, we put in the middle. What's one number higher? 4. Higher numbers, ever since you were a little kid in elementary school, were always on the right. The lower number would be 2. It's always on the left. Always. Don't change that. Now, to indicate the answer is 3, you would put a dot on the number line, right where 3 touched the number line. Okay? Pretty simple. Does that make sense? Does it look like a picture of x equals 3? Absolutely. So then we have the inequality x is greater than or equal to 3. Sorry, less than or equal to 3. So we still have to have 3 as part of the picture because it's, right? We call that our boundary point. What's one higher? 1 lower. We got to give the number line direction. Okay? So then to indicate that the answer can equal 3, we put a dot. But what are some other possible answers as well? 2. What else? 1. What else? What else? -1, -2. All the way up to negative infinity. Right? Negative infinity, it's way down there. So what can we indicate to show that it's all those possible answers? Well, a couple ways. Some math teachers just say draw an arrow like that. I don't really like that too much. I like to show shading this direction and put an arrow on the end. Okay? That's what I like to do. But I'm not going to mark it wrong if you show something different. But now we have a different symbol. Now we have a greater than 3. Now we're still talking about 3, aren't we? So let's not change that. Let's put 3 on the number line, and 1 higher and 1 lower. But now, how can we indicate that 3 is not the answer, but it's really, really interesting? Because we're really, really close to it, but we're not actually equaling it. The dot means that it equals 3. Maybe we could come up with a special dot. Star. No, because a star would still touch right where the blue line crosses the black line. What kind of special dot could we use that actually wouldn't touch? Yeah, an open dot or a circle. So that means, hey, 3 is interesting, but it's not the answer. Now, what should we do to indicate that there's other possible answers that are greater than 3? Shade. And this time we shade to the left. Good. So the right, sorry. Now I want to watch this. If I trace this sign, and then I take it, and I move it over here, oh, what do you notice? It matches up. Kind of tells you the way to shade, doesn't it? I wonder if that would work for this one. Less than. Let's see if I take this and slide it over, it kind of tells me which direction to shade. So that can help you a little bit. But it only works if X is first. Now tomorrow we have to be careful of that. But today it's pretty easy questions. So possible answers are 4, 5, 6, etc. Because 6 is greater than 3. This is a true statement. Okay, so we have to check that our shading makes true statements. So a couple things to note. If you have a greater than or a less than sign, you need to use an open circle or open dot, wherever you'd like to call it. But if you have an equal to part, then it's got to be a closed dot or closed circle. So if X is greater than 3, we call 3 the boundary point. So it separates our answer from our non-answer, but it isn't necessarily the answer. Okay? Don't worry about it. I just want to say what boundary point it was because he talked about it in the textbook. It'll be clear on the questions though. So let's solve it. We're not learning anything new with solving. It's just that the answer is an inequality and we have to be able to graph it. So all our same rules apply. If you see addition, do. If you see multiplication, do. Good. So multiply in just like you normally would. And then solve. So move 8 to the other side by adding 8. And you're going to get negative 8. Then we should divide by 4, just like we always would. And we get x is greater than negative 8. Okay. Like I said, x is greater than negative 2. I can't believe you guys didn't fall for that. Thought I had you. Okay, graph it now. What goes in the middle? Negative 2. What's one higher?
Negative 1.
Yes, I'm glad you didn't say negative 3. One lower? Negative 3. So be careful with your negative signs. Open circle or closed?
Open.
Open. And shading which direction? To the right. Because that's greater than negative 2. It's pointing to the right. So let's check. For your check, you have to choose something that x is greater than negative 2. So we're going to say x equals what? 4 works. Well, let's just choose negative 1 or 0. Those are easy math ones. But just make sure that you have something that's a possible answer. So then we got 4x minus 2 greater than negative 16. And we change it to 4 times negative 1 minus 2 is greater than negative 16. 4 times negative 3 is greater than negative 16. Negative 12 is greater than negative 16. Is this true? Yes, it totally is. True. So then we know that we shaded, okay, correct. Okay. If you get a true statement, I should write down a true statement. If we have a true statement, then check we did it correctly. Okay? Because negative 12 is a lot closer to 0 than negative 16. That's true. Remember, it always eats the bigger number, right? What do they call it? The alligator's mouth, the hungry bird, yeah, all that stuff. That's when you use it, right here. Okay, next one. Go for it. B. Solve it. -5. Number higher, -4. Number lower, -6. Open or close circle. Which way should I shade? Left. So what number can we check with? -6. So do your check. X equals -6. See if you get a true statement. Is the sign even the bigger number? Yep, so this is true. So check, we did it correct. Okay. Any questions? Okay, go ahead, solve the last one. Go. How many people got a fraction? Does it scare you? It shouldn't. Lowest terms? Yep. What goes in the middle? So if you add 1, just add it to the numerator. What's 3 plus 1?
4.
Good. So this is 4/2. Now as honor students, what should you really write? 2. Okay. What's 1 less?
Half.
No. 2/2. Right? Good. And you guys as honor students should write 1. Okay? So fractions are easy, aren't they? Just add 1 to the numerator, subtract 1 from the numerator. But make sure you put in lowest terms. Open or close circle? Close circle this time because it's the greater than or equal to part. And shade to the right. And don't forget about your arrows. There you go. Any questions? How do you check this? Okay, it's a pain in the butt to check. Well, not really. Choose a whole number like 2, and it's easy. Don't choose a fraction to check. That's going to be hard work. Choose an easy number to check, like a whole number. Okay, the number line should help you with that. And again, you're checking to make sure you get a true statement. You won't get a fraction when you check. Okay.